Hello everybody, Vibes of a Wildlife here. Welcome to another video where we dive into the heart, humor, and unexpected life lessons from the animal kingdom. You think you know this story. Fast hare, slow tortoise. Overconfidence, a nap, and a shocker at the finish line. Classic, right? But here's the thing. That fable we all grew up on? It left out a lot. Because in real life, nature doesn't hand out medals for moral lessons. There's no narrator giving side-eye, no cheering crowd, and definitely no trophy waiting at the end. Just survival. That's the only win that matters. So today we're pulling back the curtain on one of the most famous races ever told. Not to rewrite it, but to reframe it. Because this isn't just a story about speed versus slow. It's about strategy. The kind that's baked into fur, muscle, instinct, and evolution. The kind that says maybe the hare didn't lose, and maybe the tortoise wasn't trying to win the way we think. Now if you're into animals, quirks, survival hacks, and that sweet spot where biology meets life advice, go ahead and hit like, share it with a friend who needs a new perspective, and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next, because we're just getting started. And you know what they say? Sometimes it's not about how fast you move, it's about whether you're even running the right race. So before we crown a winner, let's look closer at the race, and what we've misunderstood from the start. Alright, let's talk about the race we think we know. You've heard it 100 times. The hare shoots off the starting line, confident, cocky, untouchable. The tortoise, steady as ever, keeps it moving. Hare gets distracted, takes a nap, and boom, tortoise crosses the finish line first. Cue the applause, roll the credits. Moral of the story? Don't be arrogant. Be consistent. Stay humble. And hey, there's value in that. That story has been told in classrooms, bedtime books, boardrooms, even wedged into motivational speeches. It's been used to hype up everybody from marathon runners to small business owners. It's a classic. But here's the truth. Just because it's classic doesn't mean it's complete. See, the problem is, nature doesn't work in metaphors. The tortoise isn't trying to teach anyone about patience. The hare isn't some cautionary tale with a fur coat. These animals don't follow morals. They follow instincts. Built-in, hardwired, survival-driven instincts that have been shaped by millions of years of evolution. That's the real story here. Because while we're sitting around debating who won, they're out there doing what they do best, surviving in ways that make perfect sense for them. So maybe it's time we stop projecting our human life lessons onto animals and start paying attention to what they're actually showing us. Let's trade the fable for facts and see how each animal's design gives them a very real edge. Alright, let's talk about the hare. Now I get it. In the story, the hare comes off a little full of himself. All that speed, all that flash, and he still fumbles the win. But let's be real, if we're talking real-world biology, hares aren't losing anything. They are built for the sprint. Those powerful back legs? They're loaded with fast twitch muscle fibers, the kind that let a jackrabbit hit speeds over 45 miles per hour. That's faster than most city speed limits. And their ears? Not just for show. Those oversized satellites help regulate body temperature and pick up the faintest sound of an approaching predator. Their eyes are set high and wide on the sides of their head, giving them nearly 360-degree vision, which means a hare can spot danger coming from just about anywhere, even behind them. That awareness? That's a biological superpower. Hares don't just run, they zigzag, change direction on a dime, and bolt like they've been shot from a slingshot. That quick, erratic movement confuses predators and buys precious seconds. Seconds that often mean the difference between becoming a snack or getting away clean. And here's the kicker. Hares don't live in burrows like rabbits. They nest in shallow depressions in the ground called forms. No walls, no tunnels, no hiding spots. That means when a predator rolls through, it's game on. Their only defense? Run first, ask questions later. Every ounce of their design is about fast response. They're not lazy, they're living on the edge every day. So yeah, in the wild, speed isn't about bragging rights. It's about survival. It's about reading the environment, reacting instantly, and putting distance between you and the thing trying to eat you. That's not ego, that's instinct. And sometimes the smartest move is to lean into your strengths, to trust your build, your wiring, and go. But let me ask you this. What happens when running isn't an option? What if your body doesn't say flee, it says brace? Well, then you don't try to outrun the storm. You outlast it. Alright, let's talk tortoise. Now, you ever notice how a tortoise doesn't do much? I mean, from the outside, it looks like this little armored pebble just exists to be slow and unbothered. But that's not laziness, that's strategy. Pure, patient, biological brilliance. See, a tortoise isn't built to outrun anything. It's built to outlast everything. That shell? It's not just a cute mobile home, it's actual bone. Part of its ribcage fused with plates called scutes. Think of it like organic body armor, and not the kind you toss on in a rush. We're talking built-in, ready to go, pressure tested by predators over millions of years. And under that shell? A slow metabolism that's borderline legendary. Some tortoise species can go months without food or water. They don't burn fuel fast because their whole existence is about conserving energy, moving only when it matters, staying still when it doesn't, and being nearly impossible to kill in the meantime. They're like the survivalists of the animal kingdom. No panic, just presence. Tortoises also handle tough environments like pros. In dry regions, they'll burrow underground to escape the heat, like nature's version of a panic room. Some even store water in bladder sacks, basically carrying a built-in canteen. You can't hustle a tortoise. It's already planned for the drought, the danger, and the downtime. Honestly, their whole vibe is, you can chase me, but you'll get tired before I even think about stressing. That's the power of being too tough or too boring to mess with. Predators take one look, do the cost-benefit math, and go, not worth it. So no, tortoises don't race, they endure. And that endurance, that's its own kind of dominance. A silent, stubborn kind. The kind that says, I'll still be here long after the sprint is over. Now here's the twist. Does that mean endurance always beats speed? Or is it just a different kind of win? So which is better? The burst or the burn? Let's reframe the question. Let's talk about something most folks miss when they hear tortoise versus hare. This was never just about who's faster. It's about who's better at what. And the truth is, evolution doesn't hand out gold stars for style. It doesn't care if you're flashy or chill. It cares if your strategy works. Now hares? They're built for speed, pure and simple. Long limbs, light bones, twitchy muscles that fire off like springs. Every part of them is made for rapid reaction and quick getaways. Built not just to move fast, but to move first. In open spaces where there's nowhere to hide, being able to move instantly, decisively, can mean the difference between life and becoming lunch. That's their edge. And in that context, that's winning. Tortoises, though, they're a different kind of genius. They're not running anywhere, and they don't have to. That shell isn't just a house on their back. It's armor. Bone-deep evolutionary grade protection. Their metabolism is so slow they can go months without food or water. I mean, Aldabra giant tortoises have been known to live over 150 years. They win by waiting the world out. In a harsh environment, when resources dry up and predators lose patience, the tortoise is still there, breathing slow, moving slower, thriving. See, nature doesn't crown the fastest. It crowns the best fit. And that fit depends on where you are, what you're facing, and how you play your hand. So if you're trying to decide who's better, the hare or the tortoise, you're asking the wrong question. Because neither is superior. They're just playing different games, with different rules, on different fields. This isn't about who's faster. It's about who knows what kind of race they're running. Here's the thing. The tortoise and the hare, they were never rivals. Just two different players running two very different plays. One leaned into speed, the other into staying power. Neither one was wrong. That story isn't about picking a winner. It's about recognizing that in nature, timing and strategy matter just as much as talent. Some days life calls for a sprint. Other days, you win by just showing up and moving forward, one slow step at a time. And that's the real lesson here. Your race, your rules. You don't have to be the fastest. You just have to know how and when to move. So if this gave you something to think about, maybe helped you feel a little better about your own pace, go ahead and hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs the reminder, and definitely subscribe, because we've got plenty more wild wisdom coming your way. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time, whether you're quick on your feet or steady on your shell, just remember, finishing strong matters more than starting fast.